And
Hi,
now,
welcome to If I Did It, a show where we analyze and solve PR kerfuffles from MMA world and beyond.
It's early for that. Okay.
I'm Lexi Alden. Joining me as always is Kid Nate from Bloody Elbow and Eugene
yeehaw! Get
Robinson.
my red up, boys.
Trey Crowder is going to sue you, man.
Fuck Trey
And,
Crowder, Yankee Dixie motherfucker from Texas.
He's going to Kevin Lee route. Fuck all y'all. Fuck everything. I fuck everything.
Exactly. Texas king capital of redneck world. Everybody else is hanging on.
And the guy dropping the F-bombs is EUGENE'S Robinson from Aussie.com, and author of Fight, Everything You Want to Know About Ass Kicking. We're afraid to get your ass kicked for asking.
There you go.
Professional,
Thank you,
Eugene, as always.
Hey.
All right.
Sign gets more crooked. Says it all.
So we're going to start off with something a little different in the format because there were so many kerfuffles for WME-IMG that the first three topics we will discuss will be directed towards WME-IMG. Three separate situations that happened over the past week, all right? So just wanted our listeners and viewers as well as our panelists to be aware of that for the next three questions, they're going to be directed as if you are WME-IMG, all right? So Eugene, you're WME-IMG.
First of all, I want to make that Eugene Robinson a big star. Big! He's been underplayed for weeks. And then later on, we can follow with Alexi and Kid Nate. But first, Eugene Robinson will make him huge. Anyway.
Huge. Last week, multiple PR threats to your brand were made on different fronts, live and in public, if you will. Share your strategies for handling each one. First, last Friday, the New York Post devoted an article to what they referred to as, quote, Ronda Rousey's failed year away, end quote, and recounted her brutal loss to Holly Holm and subsequent, quote, self-imposed media blackout, end quote, as well as referencing, quote, her controversial coach, end quote, and, quote, her alleged domestic abusing boyfriend, end quote. The article deemed her surprise, quote, made for media moment, end quote, at UFC 205 weigh-ins, quote, fell flat, partly because Rousey's revival was dead on arrival. What are your PR plans to make Ronda's image great again?
Man, this is where they call people into special ops. You know, they call him Mad Max, you know, the guy who says, you want to get out of here, you come to me. And they call in some old hands, you know, like they get the guy Robert Shaw from Jaws, you know, they get the Mad Max, and they get a bunch of old crusty old hands to try to revive it, because it is hard to revive that which is dead unless your name is Frankenstein. I mean, you know, look, if we were talking about stronger stuff on both sides of the fence, if we were talking about, you know, women's MMA, you can still put that word nascent around women's MMA, and nobody will look at you strangely. You know, I mean, it's not like WNBA, but it's still in the development phase in terms of it. You don't believe me? Show me full cards that have any weight. Show me stars other than Cyborg, Rousey. I mean, they're a handful, but it's not super strong. So it's like, here, not here. If I'm them, I'm really having a discussion. Does this make sense to even do? Because you look in her eyes and it's not there, man. You can't, you're not hitching any horses up to that effort that are going to go anywhere. I'm sorry. You know, people only see the tip of the iceberg, and they only see the fact that she's been what this is great. People only see the tip of the iceberg. They see she's been doing this for a long time, and she grew up poor. She's got a shitload of money. You know, you think now the allegations that they're firing indicate that the media is about to fucking have a field day and dig in, and they're going up. I mean, the MMA world has forgotten all about the Travis Brown domestic issue. They're fucking dredging that up. It's not dredging them up because for them it's new. Therefore, it's news. Does she have the intestinal fortitude to be able to take care of all of that? Losing movie roles because of her acting not being up to par, therefore going through the ego grinding machine of trying to improve, and people trying to punch you in the face to make their name. That's a lot. That's a lot for anybody, and that's a lot for her. It's just easy to do what the hell she's been talking about wanting to do, which is not thinking about committing suicide and going off and being a mom. You know, fuck it. Get off her back. Let her do her thing. But whatever that thing is, it won't be in the cage.
And you call yourself a bloodthirsty corporation. You're no WME. They got to squeeze one last bit of juice out of this rotten old orange, and they can get Amanda Nunes over. A lot of people will tune in to see Ronda Rousey. Amanda Nunes torques her, and a few of those people are going to come away going, that Amanda Nunes is badass. I'll be watching her next fight. That's all they got. And remember,
that's all they got. But he's talking about a career.
Women's MMA. Who fuck her career? I'm WME.
Which is what I said.
This isn't Ronda Rousey's manager talking. This is WME. This is a product. We're getting some sausage out of this last hunk of meat on this bone before we throw it out. And fuck some Ronda Rousey. She fucked them hard. She was supposed to be on 205, et cetera, et cetera. Sticking with that idiot Tarverdian, alleged idiot, whatever you want to call him.
No, I think he's solely an idiot.
Remember, women's MMA has had one of these fallow periods before. After Chris Cyborg fucking cantaloupe Gina Carano's head,
that was
the wilderness. Great. And you know what came out of that? Ronda Rousey. There are other charismatic, badass young women out there that will be rising. Just keep those fields plowed, keep them fallow, just keep seeding it and throwing shit out there. Somebody will click in a few years. So that's what they got to do. And women are inherently charismatic and interesting to a lot of people. A lot of women want to be strong women, identify with fighting. A lot of dudes
just not vote for them.
That was personal.
Nobody wants to be fucking Hillary Clinton, okay? Nobody, anybody went back to the 90s said,
all right, go ahead, man.
That led to this.
Derailing.
All right, let's get on with the WME, the second WME question.
We essentially said the same thing, except I don't even think there's one more in her. That's it.
I think there's one more, and I think they'll get her in that cage.
So you don't engage in any kind of PR statements of your own, or articles, or puff pieces, or anything.
Next question.
Wow, you're done with her.
I know. I do the Hollywood chill out on her. I just don't answer the call. Sorry, because anything she does is detrimental. I mean, if there's even a suicide attempt, that's on fire. It's on fire. You got to let her be. Just let her be, man.
All right. So Nate, you're still WME-IMG. After negotiations with former UFC welterweight champion Georges St Pierre's return at UFC 206 fell through, his attorney told Forbes, quote, he doesn't need the UFC. If the new owners, William Morris-IMG, he called you out, don't want him back and they try to block him from fighting elsewhere, he can then take the legal battle or decide to walk away and do other things, end quote. That was followed up with GSP tweeting photos taken last Saturday at Bellator 165 with Bellator CEO Scott Coker and current Bellator fighters, including UFC defectors Rory McDonald and Chael Sonnen, as well as the previous UFC owners Moby Dick, Fedor. What PR moves do you make, if any, to counter?
Man, they boxed themselves in the corner with the Reebok deal. The whole deal with GSP and WME is this legacy bullshit Reebok deal. Dude makes a ton of money from Under Armour, and he got to wear Under Armour in the fucking cage, y'all. And they're going to fucking jack him for more than half his nut to give him penny ante bullshit from Reebok. He ain't having it, and they're fucked. That's where they are in this situation. I don't see that they have any moves except courthouse. And Ari Emanuel played tough in the courthouse, and we'll see how much money and time GSP wants to put into this nonsense. But they did it to themselves with the Reebok deal. So I think what they ought to do is extricate themselves from that weak ass bullshit Reebok deal. It's been an anvil around their neck ever since it started, and it hadn't done Reebok no good. I know Reebok ain't coming back to this shit because it's just been egg and feces on their face the whole fucking time.
What do you think, Eugene?
I think somebody texted me photos, and I go, the least effective threat ever. Yeah, well,
there are more photos like these where this came from.
Exactly. Man, I'm saying, look at my man, Chael. Yeah. And Fedor, we're going to take the world by storm. No, you're not. No, you're not. Have you actually watched Bellator? I felt bad. On my last knuckle up. I didn't mention a single fucking thing about Bellator, and I tried.
Michael Venom Page stinking up the show deserved a mention.
Yeah, but I got, I'm compromised because it's like I don't, I'm not gonna look. It was, come on, man, Chandler.
That fight had a one moment. I mean, that suplex was all right.
Yeah, it was.
It's reveling in its subparness. You know, just like I don't know, just like shit can be shitty and still make money and nobody cares and they look at you like you're stupid for complaining about it. But this deal, I mean, the GSP is also, he's in a situation where nobody's got these clocks that are running backwards. You know, fuck around all you want, Jack. You know, whoa, that was fast. Okay. You know, I'm going to do that too. That he makes me want to. There's a reason I should be running. Yeah, there's a reason I should be running. You got to let me know, man. You disappear like that.
I had to turn on the heater.
He's in deep cover, man.
Yeah, my
he emerged from his own bunker.
I'm gonna start running too. I don't know why you're running, but I'm gonna run too. You know. Now, so I think if I'm WME, I'm like, go ahead. On the other side, if I really want to make this work, if I'm not playing the old Zuffa game of like I got the biggest balls on the block. What I say is, you know what? You're right. You're 100% right. The Reebok deal is fucked. And the Reebok deal is not even about cash. He could replace the Under Armour cash by just yanking it out. We'll take less of the Reebok money, give you more of the Reebok money, and you dump Under Armour. But I'm sure GSP has signed this little thing called a contract with Under Armour. A contract with Under Armour that doesn't let him walk away from Under Armour. So even if they replace all the Under Armour cash with Reebok cash, effectively robbing Peter to pay Paul, it still doesn't make it so that he can just turn around and go, fuck it. So can you give me clearance to make this work? Or do you just wait out the Under Armour contract? Or what do you do? That was a crazy deal to begin with. It was I understood the deal because if you're trying to put something up on the table for sale, you got to say like, look, we got this, we got that, we got that. We have lots of different instruments by which we can generate revenue. But that was a stupid ass deal to begin with. It was terrible. The exodus of fighters that left because they couldn't leave or who are underperforming or less interested in participating because of that, it wasn't fucking worth it. So who's going to lose? Ultimately, sort of the fans who it's supposed to benefit the most. I don't think Reebok, like Nate said, is making any new fans, and I think GSP, you know, on Golden Pond is fucked. It's fucked. Who's he gonna fight at Bellator that would be worth a good goddamn that you care about? You know,
Fedor.
Yeah. Man, that would be, you know, you would leave the arena with tears on your face no matter how that went.
Of laughter.
Well,
so what's
they're
your
not
take?
Rebuilding. They're like an old NFL expansion team. They got to take off the cast-off veterans that have a name and try to build some stars. Unfortunately, they're, you know, guys like Michael Venom Page getting the cage and just stand there for 3 rounds. That was fucking awful. I mean, he might have won a split decision, but he fucking took a shotgun to the face of his career.
Well, speaking about careers, shotguns, and analogies that don't fit, Nate, walk us through whether making a matchup between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is worth your while for your brand
WME?
and for your brand and financial goals.
Fuck yeah, they're in a short-term cash crunch, man. Their bonuses in this deal allegedly pay out the top execs several $100 million each if they cut expenses and pump revenue. And what they got in the cupboard to pump revenue? Jack shit. Ronda Rousey, like you say, is a squeezed orange. Conor's talking about not coming back for months and months. John Jones is on the shelf for a year, and that's it. That's all they got that can draw. And I think Mayweather and McGregor is such a fucking freak show, and it's clear Conor's making his whole career a freak show. He doesn't give a shit about titles, and nobody else does either. Featherweight title, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you know, sorry, dudes in the featherweight division, nobody gives a fuck. People are here to see Conor do amazing shit, and he needs to either fight Tyrone Woodley or fight Floyd Mayweather next. He just needs to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until the whole thing fucking supernovas. And I don't care how shitty the fight is. If it's a boxing match and Mayweather schools him, people will still fucking tune in, and it will make a fucking fortune, and it won't hurt either of them. Mayweather's already king boxing. His career is done. One more huge payday, all the friction, all the attention, all the shit talking. He knows Conor McGregor's a star. That's why he's engaging with him. And I think it behooves them to make that fight happen and get on the bus rather than trying to stop that fight from happening and fucking up business for everybody. I think that might be the difference between WME and Zuffa.
Yep.
is that they're looking to make win-win-wins, not win, you dead in the desert, lose. So anyhow.
What do you think, Eugene?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think what's most compelling about that matchup, and I don't see it 100% as a freak show, but when I sit down and kind of put my head around it, I'm trying to wonder how exactly Mayweather makes it seem competitive. You know, how he does anything to keep it from being a first round knockout, and everybody feeling like they were Johnny Rottens, you know. Man, I just paid all this money. Dude's laying on the canvas.
I think people would love to see a first round knockout. It's a 15-round dance off they don't want to see. Yeah. And if you're Floyd, you might just be pissed enough at this fool having the impertinence to get in the boxing ring with you. You want to teach him a lesson, and that might give Conor a chance. So I think there's some fun scenarios to game out here that
also disqualification, dirty tricks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
To guarantee a second fight.
Yep.
Right? Oh, he was cut from a headbutt. Oh,
right,
stop the fight. Oh, we need to do this again.
Yeah. At this point now, I think what Nate said is if you see these guys, if you see this as sporting events, you're exactly fucking crazy. You know,
it's a sporting event. It's just a circus.
It's a sporting event, but yeah, if you're confused about which way to go, you smell that smell. That's money. Like the Antwoord said, it's money. Follow that money smell, and yeah, I think that's a good way for him to spend his time. I mean, while he tries to bone up on jiu-jitsu, and I would, you know, I think the Woodley thing is super compelling as well. I would pay for that as well. You know, yeah, I mean, win or lose, win, he's fucking even goldener. Lose, what? He goes and hangs out with his kid. But there was something that was interesting that was said in that scuffle up that happened a few weeks ago that Alvarez got off and nobody's really addressed. And he's like, he's going to take time off for his girl being pregnant, but he's having 2 kids and they're not twins. Why did nobody touch that?
Now say this again.
You didn't hear? Like I'm the only one.
I'm the
only one who heard this. I'm pretty sure it was Alvarez. I'm sure maybe like the D-man can back me up on this, but I'm pretty sure he said the guy's taking time off to spend time with his girl who's having a kid, and he's going to have 2 kids, and they're not twins. Why is nobody talking about that?
Now what's that?
That's a Hannibal Buress moment,
I'm
man.
slow here. Walk me through this.
So Alvarez is saying that Conor McGregor is going to have Irish twins from 2 separate ladies.
I see. He's running a little stud farm. Well, good for him, man.
So he said, I mean, he was making a claim. You got your golden boy. You think he's just Mr. Perfect. How come we're not talking about the fact that he's going to have 2 kids and they're not twins? And it's like nobody fucking touched that. It was like, what? All of a sudden, Conor McGregor is JFK? What the fuck did that mean?
Does anybody give a shit
about nobody gives a shit, but the fact that nobody gives a shit, I find, you know.
Well, you think at least some people would be going, yeah, Conor McGregor.
But nobody's touched it from either side of the fence. I'm like.
Yeah, well, it might be.
I got 2 belts.
Well, this is
2 different divisions, and I got 2 babies from 2 different mamas. What's the big deal? I'm consistent.
You want to see effective PR? That's effective PR. That somebody comes out and says some shit like that, and nobody, friends or enemies alike, nobody's talking about it. It just didn't happen. That's fucking solid ass PR.
Exactly.
Man.
In 1966, the Rolling Stones moved away from Andrew Loog Oldham and brought in a guy named Les Perrins because the job went from being get these fools in the paper to keep these fools out of the paper. And you needed to up your game to bring in a top-notch PR guy to keep the fucking Rolling Stones out of the paper in 1967. So somebody did do some yeoman's work. And yeah, excellent point.
Well, something people are talking about, Eugene. You're the NBA. LeBron James took umbrage with Hall of Fame coach and New York Knicks president of basketball operations, Phil Jackson, referring to James's agent and business associates as a posse during an interview with ESPN's Jackie McMullen. With players, coaches, and industry observers taking time and sides interpreting the racial connotations and undertones of Jackson's reference, what PR measures must you take, if any, to prevent the Copernification of your league?
if who am I supposed to be in this instance? Sorry,
the NBA.
Yeah, NBA, man. Well, first of all, if I am the NBA right now, I have that long, sad talk with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, who for the last bit of time at the LA Lakers was felt largely to be a guy who got a job because he married well, not because he did a good job, you know. And I'm pretty much 100% sure that there was, you know, that Phil Jackson, who has made common cause with Negroes for the past 35 years, it's like Kogan speaking out of his mouth. He's like, hey, man, I grew up in Overton and spent time in Miami. I am functionally a black man. No, you're not, Kogan. but, you know, I think Jackson just spoke like he would have spoke. The question is, did he speak the way he would have spoke if LeBron was in the room? And I have to say yes. But it doesn't change the fact that at this point in time, man, things are dialed up to fucking 11. They're dialed up to 11. Sorry. People are like, oh, is going to be politically correct? If that shit gets you punched in the mouth, call it what you want, but you think before you speak. Otherwise, you're going to be, you know, there's a pasture. You shove just a little bit further out in the pasture. And if you haven't figured it out, LeBron is called the king for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, and that quote-unquote posse has some bad-ass motherfuckers in it. I mean, I think Phil Jackson started out concerned for LeBron. This feud goes way back. In one of his books, he talked about we shouldn't be letting high school kids come to the pros straight out. And most of the time, dude is right. We shouldn't. The NBA should not let 18-year-olds in the league. However, LeBron James is not your average 18-year-old basketball player, and he thrived. Now, and just like Phil Jackson's also right that a lot of these fools do surround themselves with parasites and posse, just like MC Hammer. However, LeBron James...
Johnny.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's something in my throat.
Exactly. However, LeBron James seems to be, he reminds me of John Lennon, another guy who sort of came out of a half-assed ghetto in the middle of nowhere and surrounded himself with local people he found. But John Lennon had this nose for badasses. And everybody in the Beatles organization, you can shit on Brian Epstein because he lost $100 million there, $100 million there. He fucking made the Beatles.
Oh.
I guess he made the Beatles, but didn't make Google Hangouts. That's what happens. John Lennon.
You see what happens when you start shitting on big guys, man.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
He was about to start talking about skull and bones, and then okay.
Well, see, he didn't understand. He didn't get the memo, man. In these times, you can't be dressing down. You got to be dressing up. Look at me, UG, baby.
That's right. That's
All
right. Dress up and carry a gun. This is what I say. All right. Well, maybe he doesn't know. He's off the. Oh, here he's back. All right.
And Google fucked me again. Fuck you, Google. And fuck you.
Hey, man, you already threatened some big guys that got fucked for it. I'd tread light if I were you.
Hey, you want to see my new fucking pistol handle shotgun? You know how long a shotgun has to be in Texas to be legal? 26 inches total, Jack. 18 inches barrel.
All right.
It's pretty fucking sweet. Fits inside of my car. So, anyhow. Anyhow,
okay.
Where was I when I got cut off? Oh, John Lennon. LeBron James is one of these guys who's got talent. Like anybody in the Beatles organization, they were all these just scouse people, randoms he found in Liverpool. They turned into Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo Starr. The fucking secretary of the Beatles was a badass who had a 20-year music industry career that people, I mean, I think LeBron's in that same category where he wasn't just picking out fools because they're fun to get high with and sit on the couch or chase pussy. He was like, this dude is crafty. That dude works real hard. This dude's got some next level charisma going on. We're going to put these guys together and we're going to have an operation. Right. So Phil James misread the specifics of LeBron James' situation. And then Phil is making this mistake. This reminds me of one of my favorite prison rape documentaries, wherein at one point, I believe it was in Angola, but I could maybe Tennessee. I can't remember what state prison it was. But there was a white guy who was a full-blown blood, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that does not happen very often. Like, these guys...
Light-skinned dude?
No, he was fucking white-skinned, pale-skinned motherfucker, but he was a scary, evil redneck. And it's like, I don't know if it's a Chris Rock, there's the old routine, you know, you see a whole gang of street black dudes, and then there's that white guy, and you're going, what'd white boy do to get in with these monsters, you know? And so it was like that until one day, and, you know, these other guys are just pimping out all the other white boys in the jailhouse. Like, the whole documentary is about this whole system they had for turning out these guys in jail. And they were just torn between, hey, he's my badass, he's my blood, we've been through wars together, and I could be selling that little white ass for some cigarettes, you know? And one day, dude carved some satanic shit on his cell and got the whole cell block in trouble. Next day, dude's best 2 friends fucking turn his ass out. And so you can't pick your sides in a race war. I mean, that's just, there's a certain point where it comes, you is what you is. And Phil Jackson thinks he's down. You're not down enough to say that. I think it's kind of bullshit that LeBron is using this tactic on this word rather than the point that Jackson was trying to make. But it's a fucking valid play by the rules of the game in this 21st century right now. So game, set, match, LeBron James.
Yeah, but you've also pegged it. This has been going on for a while, man. You know, it's like guy coming out of high school. Why is it one of the #1 coaches in the league fucking shitting on me? You know, if you got a long memory, presume for a second that you're like me, you're fucking laying in wait for that guy. And
he used the word posse back in the day in his book too.
Yeah.
So
I'm laying in wait for this guy.
Changed.
Yep, and the door opens, and there is the opportunity. Who doesn't take it? Fuck that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it might be bullshit the way he chose it, but you got to understand that it's not. He doesn't have a lot invested in that. It was his time to take the shot, and he's gonna give the shot. You know. Sorry, so long. It's like the frog in French Connection. Bye bye. Yeah, you know.
Well, one person who's taking a lot of shots.
Because you know what's not going to happen. You know Michael Jordan is not going to come to Jackson's defense. You know, that was the only thing that could save him.
Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not coming to rescue dude. No way.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson, I mean, Magic Johnson.
No, nobody's saying shit. So there you go. There's your prison rape story. So
Nate, you're Kanye West. During your concert in San Jose last Thursday, you announced that you didn't vote, but you would have voted for Donald Trump and were running for U.S. president in 2020. The crowd responded by booing and throwing stuff at you. Saturday night, during a concert in Sacramento, you ran about Jay-Z and Beyonce, played 3 songs, and bounced. You followed up the next night by canceling your concert in Los Angeles 3 hours before it was scheduled to begin. Do you need to make any PR moves to protect future ticket sales? Or is this PR prep for Yeezy joining Weezy as headliners for Donald Trump's inaugural ball?
Whoo! Now that would be a game-changing move, but dude needs to take some time off because he's fucking tearing his house down as fast as he fucking can, man. I mean, he is overreaching just so far. I mean, what's he gonna do? Do a tour with Azalea Banks and they can play fucking small venues? Because Azalea came out and said she did vote for Trump and went on a whole spun-out rant about that. Now, and she never even reached the heights Kanye did. She had like 1 hit and then flamed out.
Out.
I mean, I'm not like up on hip hop and all this shit I stopped listening to hip hop when The Chronic came out because I'm still mad about the fucking record company shutting down sampling like Eugene likes him to do. But I was a De La Soul, Beastie Boys, Public Enemy fan back when you could take any sound and mix it.
Beastie Boys. Oh, those guys never make it.
Yeah, exactly. But Kanye allegedly has a serious body of work. I know people that are serious heads are like, dude has got a fucking body of work here to be respected. But at this point, president, you can't even run a fucking fashion company, dude. Shut the fuck up. Take some time off. Call Axl Rose. Remember when Axl Rose started fucking having riots and starting riots at shows and shit? That turned his career off for 10 or 15 years, man. Give Axl a call and talk this shit through because I think Axl set you straight with no filter, if you know what I mean.
What do you think, Eugene?
I think that this is to quote Ian Curtis, made a fatal mistake. I think that this is finally this could be it, man. This could be. I mean, I don't mean it like dude's career is over, but if you remember, he was introduced to the world via Jay-Z in a piece in Spin magazine, right? And in this piece in Spin magazine, I remember it distinctly. He had taken his first tranche of cash. His first big check. No guarantee that there were going to be any more big checks. Took his first big check and went out and bought a jeweled fucking gold and jeweled diamond encrusted image of Christ, right? That like a dinner plate size thing you hang around your fucking neck, right? A bauble at best. And at one point, Jay-Z kind of looks at it. The interviewer is there and it was like, "Hey man, why are Jesus's eyes blue?" and the whole room kind of gets quiet. And dude has just spent like his only million on this thing. And he looks at it, and then he spends the whole rest of the interview kind of obsessing over the blueness of Jesus's eyes. Well, can you get brown diamonds with the blue? I mean, trying to make sense of that. And even though the interview itself ended on a triumphant note, talking about, this is before his first big record, a college dropout, and his parents, and how he was like essentially a middle class kid doing well, even though he dropped. It was an interesting moment for me, because this guy was like, it was like that movie The Stepfather, where they finally uncover the guy's ruse, and his wife says, "Hey, I thought you said you went to law school." And the guy pauses and he goes, yeah, that's right. Then he pauses again and goes, "Wait a minute, who am I here?" That was one of those, and then he attempts to kill her, of course. So I think, dude has been, like Trump, a master of chaos, manipulating chaos for his own personal benefit and gain. Remember his tweet, Bill Cosby innocent.
Right.
I'm a professional contrarian. I'm going to say shit. Purportedly, he's pissed off.
Troll.
Purportedly he's pissed off at Kim after the Paris attack. Paris attack is one thing. After the Paris robbery, she apparently gets paid for these Instagram appearances, and she's not showing up and walking away from $250,000 checks just for showing up places. And he's on her because we need the money coming in. She's like, "Yeah, I'm a little sensitive after the robbery. Get off my back." I don't know. this stuff is filtering in my head through people's Facebook feeds. But it's like, he needs a chill pill. I don't know. I haven't even had the heart to talk to my kids about. My kids were super huge fans. It's like, how do you justify that kind of dumbassery? How do you justify it? 49% of the voters in America, purported Trump fans, David Duke is going to be rocking a front row seat at a Kanye show. Are you fucking kidding? You race mixing fuck. I mean, come on, man. Where the fuck do you think you are?
Exactly.
I mean, his only. I mean, you want to talk about a PR strategy for fucking Kanye? At this point now, he's got to find himself some kind of fucking rehab and run to it, because this shit is deep and dark. It's up there with Sammy Davis hugging Nixon around the knees. It's not going to be forgotten in the community anytime soon. You better hope your fucking Anglo fans have shorter memories in the African American community.
And what I was saying about Phil Jackson and not being down as you think you are, that goes triple, quadruple for black folks or Jews or whatever outgroup that thinks they're going to join the white supremacist parade and see how long they can ride that train, man. They're just waiting to pull the trap door on your dumb ass.
Speaking of trap doors.
And also, let's not let you. I was thinking about Kid Nate, these UFCs this past weekend, where the fucking, to the American mind, right? They're in Belfast and they announce God beer from England, and he's walking down the causeway to get to the cage, and he's like, yeah, and you see all these Irish hands just kind of pull back. I was like, fuck it, man, you gotta fuck that. These Irish cats are not forgetting this shit at all. No way. No way. And that's the same.
Forgetting shit. Eugene, you're the producers of the hit Broadway musical Hamilton. After Vice Presidential-elect Mike Pence was booed by the crowd and admonished by your cast while attending your musical last Friday night, Donald Trump himself tweeted, quote, "The theater must always be a safe and special place. The cast of Hamilton was very, very rude last night to a very good man, Mike Pence. Apologize." End quote. Do you?
You asking me or Nate?
I'm asking you, Eugene.
No.
Producer.
Fuck no. Under threat of death, you could. Hey, listen. When I was in school, the teacher says, "Eugene, you're talking too much to your friends. I want you to move your seat." I go, "All right. I want you to sit next to this girl here." I go, "I will not." She goes, "You're gonna sit next to her, or you're not sitting in this classroom." I go, "Then I'm not sitting in this classroom." I didn't want to. She got really angry. Really, okay, you take your stuff, you sit in the hallway. I go, "That's fine." I took my books in the hallway. At the end of the day, she goes, "You're still sitting here?" I go, "Yep." She goes, "You're being a baby about this." I go, "Okay." She goes, "I'm going to send you down to the baby classroom." Now, I'm 11 years old now. They sent me down to the 6-year-old first grade classroom. set me up with my own desk, put my books there, and you couldn't. I was one of those kids. Unless you hit me, you couldn't really punish me. And if you hit me, I hated you forever, so you couldn't really punish me. I sat down there for 6 fucking months, refused.
Wow.
Finally, it creeped out the parents in the first grade. Who's that big kid in the corner? And they quietly moved my desk up. Nothing, no force on heaven or earth would compel me to apologize to a man who makes no apologies himself. Not, absolutely fucking not. In fact, you say, well, what if there's grassroots support? In fact, I'm one of the cheapest men you will ever meet, and I will buy tickets to Hamilton and not even fucking go just to support those guys. Absolutely fucking not. No way. No way. You know?
Preach, brother. Preach. And here's one thing. Here's one thing. Trump and what's getting lost here is what they actually said to Pence. They basically communicated, we're part of some out groups that are anxious and afraid, and we hope you learn something from this play and treat people with more tolerance. They didn't diss him. They didn't insult him. They just asked him as their vice president to fucking do the right thing, you know? And Trump and all these guys are pushing back on that. Man, fuck that. It's the same basic argument against Black Lives Matter. Some guy gets killed over nothing, and people just protest, hey, we lost somebody for not a good reason. And then, you know, the Breitbart and all these other assholes manipulate the yokels into being, all lives matter. What are these thugs doing? Protesting in the streets, looters. You know, he's no angel. You know, well, your dumbasses are getting shot by the cops on the regular too. And if my people figured out that the black people and them are on the same fucking side, it'd be a whole different fucking country. Did you ever see Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson do that duet? That blew my fucking brains out. And if the rednecks and the black folks get together, everybody else in this fucking country better fucking run. I'll fucking tell you that right now. And here's one more thing. A buddy of mine on Facebook was saying, man, the theater's sacred space. I'm trying to get my wife to give me hotel sex. I just spent $600 on this bullshit. I don't need this crap. And I'm like, look, dude, Mike Pence has passed laws that do things like keep people from being in the hospital with their life partner when their life partner's dying because said life partner's estranged parents are fucking homophobes. And they're doing God knows what to the person that you care the most about in the world and that cares you about, the person that wants you to be overseeing their care. If somebody got between my wife and me on her fucking deathbed, just visualize Scott's Irish ISIS, okay, motherfucker? I'm not fucking with you. So that's that. You know, they're talking about having funerals for miscarriages. My wife had a fucking miscarriage. It broke our fucking hearts, and we flushed that fucking thing down the fucking toilet. And if somebody wants to make me spend $5,000 on a fucking funeral for that fucking thing, I'm gonna fucking drag some people by the fucking head at gunpoint and make them kneel and bow and pray at my dead baby's gravesite. So fuck you assholes. That's what I gotta say.
Damn.
And also, let me tell you something. This shit is not remote. They're talking about. We've been talking on this show about a global leadership crisis. Is there people like, oh, Eugene, oh, yo, okay, we talk about Marine Le Pen. Oh, Eugene, yo, you do realize that in Poland, Duda, the guy who's the head of the Peace Party, is now seriously not only putting legislation on the books to make Jesus Christ the King of Poland. Forget about Jesus Christ, the King of Poland. He's also putting legislation on the books to do what Kid Nate just said that they're talking about, forcing mothers to not only to have funerals for miscarriages, but forcing, even if the mother's life is, to have a kid who stillborn baby, you wait 9 months and you take it out so we can baptize the kid and then have a correct church funeral, which all spells out, again, you smell that smell? Because that's the smell of fucking money, you know. Somebody questioned, well, Eugene, that's impossible. I mean, you know, you pay more money here, and how much could you possibly pay for baptism and funerals? I don't know how much you could possibly pay, but it's clear to me that the church wants it. Why else would you be fucking party to something insane like this?
Part of it's money, but parts of it's just the church power, and the church has hated women since the fucking book of Genesis was written. So, you know, like, you know, did you notice Pope Francis came out and said they can forgive people for having abortions now? I like Pope Francis. He's dropping some truth bombs. So,
but you know, one
he's
thing
also the one who came and drew a hard line about women priests. It's like,
well, okay, you know, you're not going to win them all. I mean, he's fucking making some progress. I mean, that's like George Washington was a slave owner. Yeah, he's also the asshole who reinstituted the tradition of peaceful transfer of power. So, you know, you take the good with the bad.
You know what? Speaking of the Trump fans who are now protesting Hamilton, these are the same ones now who, when they go to Starbucks and they say, "Oh, you want latte, double mocha, whatever? What's your name?" Trump. And people are actually fucking doing that, and it's all based on that guy who went in and flipped out and started calling this woman garbage at Starbucks. And then that guy got called out by another white guy and said, "I'll take you outside." He goes, "Let's go." This old man, some like 68-year-old dude, challenges this Trump guy. "That's why I voted for Trump. You people are trash. You don't talk to her that way." This 68-year-old guy, he threatens the 68-year-old guy, and the 68-year-old guy, he says, "Let's go outside." And the 68-year-old goes, "Fine. Let's go." Yeah. Because nothing that you will say or even beat into me if you win what happens outside will create a situation where I'm going to think it's all right for you to talk that way to a fucking 19-year-old.
Exactly. And like the Nazis had a protest in Austin this weekend. There's like 15 of them showed up. All right. And one of their weak ass bitches put a video. "Oh, y'all cowards said y'all's coming on my Facebook page, but y'all didn't come down here." They're surrounded by thousands of fucking good citizens and some mean ass fucking Austin anarchists and commies and veterans of sharp skinheads against racial prejudice. We don't fucking play that shit around here, man. We've been through this crap. We're under siege in this town. And fucking dude shoves a girl and the beatdown's coming. He runs to hide behind the cops. It's like, fuck you, Nazi. Fucking step out on your own.
Also, like, I want to say it's like that Eddie Murphy skit where the guy goes sees Rocky and says, "Hey, the moolie's gonna pay for my fucking drinks." It's like, you guys, I know it's a heady experience. You live your whole life as a loser. You win, but you gotta, somebody emailed me and said, "Look, I want to talk to you about threats to people of color, and if you're concerned." And I go, "Concerned, concerned." You don't know, And my wife is like, "I'm worried about you." I go, "About me?" Right? I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. I like that you guys are feeling your balls.
Yeah, you notice the Gamergate movement hasn't really had too much interest in fucking with the MMA journalism community. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all tough and shit talking about girls that make video games. Come on down. Let's talk to the guys who fight for fucking living, dude.
Well, the thing when you talk about leadership,
I still do Joe Rogan people. I'll show up places. You want to make your move.
Well, when you talk about leadership crisis, what I thought was really bizarre was when they asked Mike Pence about it. He said, "Look, I didn't have a problem with it, but if there are other people that do, I'm going to let them handle it, but I don't have a problem with it." And that's why when you talk about leadership crisis, it's that right there.
Yep.
Right?
Well, you know what happened?
You are supposed to be the center. Hold on. If you're supposed to be the center, if this is a situation where people are outraged because of how you were treated, and you say, "It didn't bother me," right? Then as a leader, you say, "Look, it didn't bother me. People need to just relax or chill out." But it's like, but if other people are, I'll just leave it up to them. It's when you talk about leadership crisis, that's it in a nutshell.
Well, you know what hat boy be wearing, don't you?
Yeah.
Cucks for Trump, charter member.
Yep. That's it. I mean, he can't shit on his boss, but how long is he going to do that thing? Well, given what I think is his clearly repressed homosexuality, he might manage to do it forever. Like Christie.
Might like a
what was that great? What was that great movie? And I'm in the middle of watching Phoebe and the Bean, so thank you. I've been forgotten about the greatness of this movie. But what was that other one? Some Came Running. There you go. Some Came Running. Christie, where is he now?
Well, that brings us to our teachable moment where he is.
Yeah, okay.
Nate, you're Donald Trump's son-in-law and New York Observer publisher, Jared Kushner. Last week, the media pinned you as the reason for New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's removal from Trump's transition team and replacing alleged anti-Semite Steve Bannon with RNC Chair Reince Priebus as White House Chief of Staff. The New York Times claims that you're, quote, "seeking the counsel of Henry Kissinger," end quote. Is becoming a political apprentice to a Dark Lord of the Sith good PR?
Fuck PR, man. He's fucking in the throne room fighting over power, man. Dude, fuck PR. This guy's playing the big game, big stakes. This is the shadowy behind the curtain stuff. He don't give a shit about PR. And, the spin about Christie that I read, that I believe from somebody who's awake to Trump world, was that dude had a job. It was called putting the transition team together. And since nobody thought Trump was going to win, old Christie was just coasting on it. And then come, election night, well, what's he got for us, Tubby? And Tubby ain't got shit. Tubby gets put out to pasture because Jared already had him on his list for fucking putting his dad in jail. So, Jared don't give a fuck about PR here. He's already down with Trump. He's got nothing to lose, man. He's fucking at the king's right hand. and he's making some serious moves, and there's a serious counterbalance. He's the only counterbalance to Bannon. If you think Reince Priebus and Mike Pence are going to stop Bannon, man, look elsewhere. But Jared Kushner, this cat's serious. This cat's for serious, for reals, and fuck some PR. He's got big boy games to play. The crowds can figure out what's happening later after he's done it.
Well, remember, he's a strong Democratic background. His father considered the family to be the Kennedys, had fundraisers for Cory Booker. So
yeah, and did that get him in the White House? No, this got him in the White House.
Yeah, but in terms of optics, it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Man, this is fucking about remaking the country. This dude realizes that Trump, like all these Democrats that were like, oh, Obama's doing the best he can. The presidency's not a magic wand. It's like, let's watch Trump take that magic wand and shove it up everybody's ass. Kushner's down with that. He knows this is about grabbing power, making changes. This is a whole new ballgame, fools. If you think the old DC rules apply, like if the DC elites were not complete fuck-ups, Trump would not be fucking president. So quit listening to Thomas Friedman and all these jackholes, man. Fuck that shit. Obama thought that getting some op-eds from those guys was going to get a Supreme Court justice past the Senate. And dude just let it lie there. Oh, did you see the op-eds when I nominated Merrick Garland? Take that, Republicans. And he goes back to sleep, man. Fucking, if you'd done that to a Republican president, that would have had fucking every day. It would have been a fucking circus until, people would have been chaining themselves to the Capitol building before it was all over until that Supreme Court nominee got a fucking hearing. So all these Democrats have been excusing Obama's half-assed measures for the last 8 years. Fucking, you're about to get woke, son, because Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, these cats ain't playing. They coming.
Well, what I also liked about it is, like, every time there's a Republican administration, if once you see it, you can't unsee it. They come up with a signature program that, and I'm sure my Trump guys say, oh, the Democrats do that too, but nobody does it more grandly than the Republicans. A signature program that essentially is an omnibus for stealing huge amounts of cash. Before 9/11, it was a manned mission to Mars.
Well, now they pass out those tax refund checks. I remember arguing with my plumber about the $600 check he got. They steal a big pile of money, but they pass some of it out. That's
maybe. But now they're talking. I don't know if you caught this, but they're talking about, well, why not go back to the moon? The fucking moon? Are you fucking kidding me? It was like that was bread and fucking circuses. People were excited about the moon. We'll go back to the moon. We could create all these shell companies to raise technology to get us back to the moon. We could sell the rights. Maybe I could be at Cape Canaveral directing things. It could be the moon. No, absolutely nobody. You think people fucking give a fuck about the moon? But you know what? They will. It'll sell. It'll be a nice pay-per-view event. It's the moon. Everybody's gonna, and in it, these guys are gonna be loading trucks, Hercules C-180 airplanes out of the back of the White House, chock full of cash, like the DK saying once, making money, except we'll update it for Trump, making money for President Trump and all the friends of President Trump. I mean, it's.
So you think Kushner doesn't have to, in terms of optics, PR, in terms of.
Steve Bannon could be sitting there wearing his "I like kikes" button, and Kushner doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, absolutely. And I guarantee you, Bannon has a button that says that. He doesn't. I mean, at this point now, it's like the fools are scrabbling over the scraps. We're talking. This is a big deal. Like I said, when WME bought the UFC, the old ways of doing business. For example, have you ever seen a more healed, tolerant, and measured Baldwin? Have you ever seen that? Have you seen the Dana White that you've been seeing the last few days? Have you ever seen that guy before? Outside of the early UFCs, right after they bought it, the answer is no.
He's like the opposite of what Kid Nate's become.
Well, Kid Nate drank like about four. He drank about. He admitted before you got here, Alexi, that he had about 4 Red Bulls last night. So
I had to drive home across Texas late last night.
Man, it's like the entire episode should be called Nate's heel turn.
Yeah, and speaking of Nate's heel turn, I mean, who's been turning? I want to call out my former boss, Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat in Virginia who's always run to the middle. And he, Warner's done some great things. I have mad respect for the guy. Super. Hey, that's not Lost Battalion.
That was a delay.
Fuck that guy. Fuck Nate.
Now, I want to call the motherfucker out because he's sending statements congratulating fucking idiot from the Benghazi campaign that got the CIA nomination. He didn't congratulate anybody that got a CIA nomination from Obama. He's just thinking he's going to he's going to curry favor with Trump and get reelected in Virginia. Yeah. And this is sexist, ladies. This is sexist, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's playing, and I got this from the Ghetto Boys, my H-Town heroes, play pussy, get fucked. If you show weakness, you're going to get taken, Jack. And that's what Mark Warner, our heel turn cuck for Trump of the week, is doing.
Man. Well, you know, it's funny. When you talk about Google and all these issues, I literally pressed the Lost Battalion button like before you were going into your Nate's heel turn. So I'm telling you, I think that, you know, you got cut off, disappeared, had to come back, press the button, it paused and resumed.
Hey, the hackers be after me in the bunker here.
Hey, the D-man says something. The D-man says something great. He goes, "Tell Trump to pull Sessions, and we'll apologize."
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah,
exactly.
Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, the guy who was too racist to get confirmed for a judge in the 80s. And people are sitting there hand-wringing, is Bannon really racist? And I'm like, have you read Breitbart? Because that's the source of all the racist memes in the country in the last 5 years. So anyway, I'm done.
Yeah. So, Eugene, it's time. The Lost Battalion.
Yeah, boy, it's chock full. Except you can comfortably say if you get a guy like, "Get out of here."
That's Eugene's home security system. Wondering now.
Sorry. I'm sad you had to see that. Now I have to kill you all or blind you. No, if you're, what was I saying?
Get out of here!
No, Lost Battalion. I was like, look. I think we can all say, Noguera, but you have to have an incorrect calculation about your placement in space. I don't know that he has any. I don't think he has any idea. I think he's pretty clear on the fact that he's not challenging for any belt. But that guy is, I don't know, man. If it made you happy to see what happened, then I don't know what kind of human being you are. That guy, and Bader was fighting some other demons because other white people would have been satisfied with just kind of dropping an occasional. He was rising up and sinking down on those elbows and do it. So the Nogueras
have cracked him to start the fight. Let's not forget that. And Little Nog still got some pop.
Yeah, you know what? That phrase right there, you just open the trap door to the Lost Battalion, because anybody on this team pimping that needs to know dude needs to stop. He needs to he needs to stop. And I'm gonna make a complicated pick too with this. I'm gonna say whatever A-level aspects existed in this man's game, those aspects have permanently been sequestered in the Lost Battalion, and I'm talking about Uriah Hall's A-levelness. It's gone. Yeah. It was barely there. Flashes. I think I correctly pegged him on Knuckle Up as being somebody for whom humiliation is a much more potent draw than anything else. But any alpha promise he had, that's Lost Battalionized, you know.
It's funny, it happened the same weekend that it almost happened to Michael Venom Page too, going back to what Nate was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Page would have been better off getting knocked out in that fight. Like, he should have just thrown down, throw it to the wind. But dancing around and not having a fight, people hate that.
What do you think about Claudio's performance, and also like at the end saying like, "Oh yeah, she wasn't ranked, but she should have been."
Kicked her in the face while she was down anyway.
Yeah.
In the ponytail.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it just brings us back full circle to the Ronda thing. I think that, I don't know what they're doing really to do, what we call A&D in Hollywood. I don't know what they're doing in terms of fighter development, what they're doing for women's MMA. I don't, I know Jermaine Durandamy, there's maybe insider knowledge. I don't know if she's gone public with this. I think her goal is to become a policewoman. I mean, she may actually already be in Holland, showing up for work as a policewoman. She got injured her last fight and pulled out, I guess, or got sick somehow, wasn't able to do it. But also Ian McCall, sorry, forgot that he rounds out the troika. You're sick, I don't give a fuck, buddy. Unless you can't see, you got to get in that cage. You got to get in that cage. So I don't think they've done enough development with women's MMA so that, I mean, I don't really know what they're thinking. Like, I think, like Kid said it, Nate has said it's right. It's like they're desirous of it. You could make big bank on somebody who's another Ronda, but I don't know what kind of energy or effort they're putting into developing the fights. And whatever energy and effort they're putting in now will not benefit people like Claudia. They'll be the people sitting at home watching it thinking, fuck, if I only could have held out 2 more years, fuck, you know, so.
Well, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson, a Kid Nate at Alexi Old. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Sorry.
For what? We expect nothing less.
I have to apologize for absolutely everything.
Leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube and MMA Nation iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Read Eugene at Ozzy.com. And be sure to check out all 3 of us at Amazon.com. We'll be back next week with another installment, If I Did It. And we don't know what we're going to be talking about because the PR mistakes have yet to be made.